Do you guys remember when I was asking you a word to describe yourself? Do you remember what that word was?
No.
You don't?
No.
No.
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the word?
Loyal.
Loyal.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Why did you choose loyal?
It's based on integrity. It's based on, being. No, it's just what I am. Like I will go to bat for what I believe in, and people know that. And I probably give it out more than I should, but it's just who I am.
I love that. All right. What if you said asshole? Do you remember who said asshole?
When
I was gonna say.
No.
Did you say both?
Was that
No.
the asshole?
No. Were you asshole?
No.
Somebody said my ex-wife would have called me the asshole.
That's me. That's fair.
That's fine.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. But you mentioned, and if you tell a little bit of a story of like how you are that way in the sense that you fight for your clients and you fight for what's best for them, and
Yeah.
in their way that you stand up for people in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Find what's my client's unique objectives, right? And then just fight like a dog for them.
Yeah.
Right? Like pit bull, just chase it down until we get it. Right?
Yeah.
I think one thing that you should really talk to, because it touched me when you said it to Sarah, but how much you dislike bullies.
Yes.
And you got into this, one of the reasons that you're here in this legal profession and what you do is essentially to find bullies.
Yeah, absolutely. It's from my early experience just watching clients get pushed around when they were in the right, and I hated seeing that. I hate bullies. I hate people who think they can abuse legal process to get what they want. And when I see that, it just gets me riled up, and I want to fight.
Yeah.
And I'll fight for my clients.
Love that. And then Patrick, do you remember? You don't remember what yours was?
No.
Modest.
Oh.
I think we gave that one.
Yeah. I was having trouble answering most of the questions.
You mentioned humble, and then we went with modest.
Yeah. It's, I would explain that without not sounding modest.
You do badass, complicated title opinions, and you don't think that's a big deal, but I would blow my brains out and try to do that. And you're modest about it not being hard, but it is hard. So you're good at what you do, you just don't like being in trouble. You just
Mhm. You're a pretty modest person.
and you're modest about the work that you do.
Patrick tends to understate the value that he adds.
I feel like I'm good at figuring things out, and the more complicated, the better. And I try to figure things out to a degree where it's hard to tell that it's something that I just figured out. And so it's rewarding when I'm able to do that. The tax thing. I don't know. That's also something that I find interesting and engaging, so I like to do it. It's nice that we get to do that stuff, just like this firm.
So modest, you're a problem solver. Like
Yes.
Yeah, but I am pretty good at it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And in this firm, 9 times out of 10, when questions get floated around, the answer is, I don't know, talk to Patrick.
Ask Patrick.
Ask Patrick. Or Patrick will figure it out. Patrick does those.
I like doing the things that no one's had to do yet, or we haven't, when novel issues and novel questions come in. I like
See,
that.
that freaks other people out.
Yeah.
You're outside your wheelhouse, and so you like to get in the weeds on, like,
Patrick solves problems.
All right, Ryan, do you remember what yours was?
I do know.
Confident.
Confident. Sounds right.
Do you remember why you might have said confident around like your client work and what you do?
Because I've done all the work to get here. Like,
Okay.
I've spent all the time, I've done all the research, I've spent all the time with the clients to get to know them, to get to know their unique issues, to get to know their business, to really understand what it is that drives them so that I can deliver them the answers they're looking for.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You guys all mentioned also the word trust and integrity. So I'm going to start with Ryan. What does trust and integrity mean for you in this business?
It means that what we say we're going to do, we do. And that can be a hard thing. Sometimes we overpromise, and that can mean staying up till 2 in the morning to deliver a document I said was going to be delivered that day. But that's part of having integrity. We do what we say.
Okay, awesome. What about you, Ben?
being a trusted advisor is what being an attorney is about, and being able to tell clients no because it's in their best interest, but they believe you because you've been candid and you've done the homework, so you back up what you say. So so that they can be your trusted advisor. Ryan would be the trusted advisor.
What about you?
What was the question?
What does trust and integrity mean for you?
Oh, I feel like I don't know what to add to what they said.
But for you personally?
What ought to be done, whether it's, especially when it's difficult or hard to do. It's easy to have integrity about things that are easy to do, almost to the point where it only counts as integrity. It's harder when it would be easier to act without it. And that's what that word. And then trust is, I mean, we're all fiduciaries. It's treating your clients the way that you would treat yourself. It's almost like the golden rule, right? So you would have other people doing it to you. Some sort of combination of those concepts, I think, is what comes to my mind when you ask about trust and integrity.
Amazing.
I think as an attorney, a lot of times we have to give bad news to a client, right? And I think that trust and integrity is most important then, right? Because the clients know that we're not going to pander to them. They're going to trust us to give them even hard truths sometimes. And that's important because then once we know the truth and once we know what reality is, then we can navigate it. We can navigate it together. But we can only do that if we're able to be honest with ourselves and then if we're able to be very honest with our clients.
I love that. Okay, so Ryan, this question's for you. Why are you bringing this group together? What makes Mink, what is the point?
The idea is to bring people that have different experiences to solve complex issues. One of the things I really love is really understanding deeply our clients' issues, their business, what their aims are. And by bringing various expertise in intellectual property, litigation, regulatory, and family law, and estates and trusts and corporate, we can solve our clients' problems in a really unique way that really gets to their personal business aims and their personal aims rather than just solving a issue.
Amazing. What about you, Ben? Was there anything you would add to that?
Yeah, we came together because we wanted to be the place, like the one-stop shop. People can come to us and we're going to be able to solve the problem because we're going to do the work and we have the expertise in those areas, which is the broader the better. And we want to continue to grow that. And so but mostly it's just people, I want them to call Mink and we will take care of it.
Amazing. Patrick, can you talk a little bit about how you and Ryan have worked together for a really long time and what kind of camaraderie you two have had?
Yeah, I've worked at firms before and worked for bosses and that sort of stuff, and it's not bad, but it's a lot better when you can work with friends and stuff. It makes life, maybe you're working 8 hours a day, maybe you're 16 hours a day, and just 3 hours that unfortunate day, but when you're doing that, you're doing it with your friends, life is just better.
Amazing.
I think people understand. I think that makes sense.
Definitely. And so Jedi, what made you kind of reach out to them and kind of become a part of this group?
That's a great question. So I always tell my kids, the 3 most important words that you can learn and memorize and commit to yourself is how can I help? It's 4 words. 4 most important words that you can commit to memory and to live by is how can I help, right? And that's what I started when I started my own practice. And then just through working with Ryan and Patrick, there was certainly this level of just being able to mesh together on everything, right? And coming together. It was so easy for us to be able to work together on projects and then having ways in which they could help my clients. And seeing it so clearly, it was like pointing my clients right to it and saying, Ryan's your guy, Patrick's your guy for this, right? And then the vice versa. I just felt like this is a perfect marriage, if you will, to still have an analogy, right?
They do exist.
Yeah. Or a really good one. Maybe we'll call it that.
So Ryan, how would you like your clients to think of you? Why Mink?
I want our clients to think of Mink as their first call. This is the place that you can go to get your problem solved. If it's a personal problem, if it's a problem at your business, if it's a problem that you're looking on the horizon may arise. We want to be the first place that you go to because we understand you. We understand your business. We understand your personal needs, and we're there to advise you.
Amazing. I love that. Do you have a philosophy or approach that you think describes you guys? And I'm going to point this one to Ben.
This group of guys looks, the answer is yes, we can help. That's the philosophy. And it's contagious when we field client calls out of left field. The answer is, yeah, we can figure this out. And between the four of us, somebody's got a background. It seems to cross-apply and cross-refer. But the clients, that we, even our existing clients, they've got these other problems. And we're also, I think our philosophy too is people's lives, I mean, we're in the now, and their legal problems are now, but they're trying to plan the future, either personally or business, and we want to help them grow either out of the situation they're in or fix the situation they're in. But they need to have, I think the biggest thing is we're here to provide peace of mind as a trusted advisor, and the only way you can do that is being willing to say yes. And these guys really want to help clients, and they go above and beyond and do that.
Amazing.
Is that something we want to review?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So Jedi, what do you think makes this group different from others?
I think what Ben said, right? I would say that these guys are very intrepid, right? And that's unique for attorneys. Attorneys are very conservative. Attorneys get very niched and just say, I do one thing, right? And that's all I do. And that works great. Our clients need people attorneys who are willing to go out there and put the work in to help them blaze new trails, right? And that's what every one of the guys at this table does. We're all willing to say, yes, let's go figure it out, right? What's your goal? And let's go figure it out together, right? And let's get you there.
Amazing. So what made you, I guess, want to get into law? And I'll start with Patrick. You want to...
I couldn't get a job. And the whole finance thing just wasn't working.
We talked about trust and integrity earlier.
You didn't just fall into UT Austin, it's a good law school.
Yeah.
It was the closest one.
This is his
But it's
modesty.
also a great law school, which means
Very
you're smart.
modest.
You agree.
What's interesting about law? Sometimes I do think about doing other things though. Actually, there's a lot of interest you see to it. There's a lot of it's a fun tool you can play with, but I do get to get into other things by doing this, right? So if we have a client that comes on that's an architect or a house builder or something like that, now I get to learn all about architecture. If we had a client come in that had a medical problem, I'm not going to go through all the medical school, but I can probably learn one thing about the practice of medicine as well as anybody else. And the same thing being an accountant. Almost any professional thing that you can do, the law touches everything, right? But there's always lots of opportunity for learning new things and doing different things. And I'm not going to go out and get my master's in architecture or anything, but I can learn a lot about how this particular part of the building is built anyway. And I like doing it.
You Jedi.
So I went to law school specifically to be a patent attorney. In fact, I knew before I started my undergrad that's what I wanted to do because my dad was an inventor, and he always told us growing up this story about how he created this product and brought it to this business, and it was new and it was novel. It was way better than anything else that was out there. And he brought it to him and he said, "Hey, you guys like this?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we love this. Yeah, we'll manufacture this for you. We'll sell it. You're gonna get a piece." And he left and never heard from him again, and saw that product on in stores later. And I just felt like that was unfair, right? And so that's what drove me towards patent law. And then it's that aspect of kind of fighting back against bullies, right? Fighting back against people who abuse process, right? And that's what's driven my whole legal career, all the way from before it started.
That's a great story. What about you?
Lots of things, but I thought about being a fighter pilot, and then in the military, I was like, oh, this is what I wanted to be when I was a kid. And the problem is when anybody tells me to do something, my first instinct is to ask why. And so that part of my personality that came out of it is that no, I want to know why things are done. So just to ask and knowing underneath. So that's where the law comes in. It's just my personality gravitated towards this. But then, yeah, to piggyback on Jedi, if I could have more cases, I don't want them all to be this way, but more cases where I'm helping the little guy who's getting bullied, it really grinds my gears, or I'll put a lot more time than they can even probably afford to get them the right result if I really feel they're getting around it. But that's just something I can't stand, and the law is the way through and how to do that.
Amazing. All right. What about you, Ryan?
I've always had a fascination for economics and philosophy and finance, kind of how the corporate world is structured. And so I wanted to pursue that. In college, I didn't quite know what direction, so I studied finance. I got an MBA, and then I went to law school and I put it all together. And it gave me an opportunity to really study how the world in finance interacts and how companies interact and what are the rules pursuant to which they play. And finding the nuance of how to give my clients advantages within those rules gives me a drive. It's really fun. I enjoy it.
That's awesome. All right.
Little pause real fast.